ready to start. Okay. Good evening, everybody, and this is No Rainbow, and I'm your host and your facilitator for Free to Heal. And we are formerly incarcerated and loved ones. And we come together every week so we can try to heal from the wounds and ravages of mass incarceration. And tonight, we're going to talk about something that is it's something that we talked about briefly before, but I think I want to go into it a little bit deeper, and that is, and expand on it, and that is the convenience factor. So there's always a price. You always pay more for convenience, right? But do we think about when we allow ourselves to be a convenience, or worse, when we only want to be bothered with people who are a convenience? So, as I like to tend to do, I like to start with definitions. That's okay. Hang in there. It will in a minute. Okay. So, convenience. These are the definitions in the dictionary. When for a noun is fitness or suitability for performing an action. Something such as an appliance, a device, conducive to ease, a suitable or convenient time, and this is the one that most applies to what we're talking about. Freedom from discomfort. Okay. As an adjective, convenience is designed for quick, easy preparation or use. Designed for quick and easy preparation or use. So, discomfort, mental or physical uneasiness, annoyance, kind of like Pike, right? An annoyance. So now, this is the thing. What is the price of convenience? So we often use the example here about a bottle of water. If you buy a bottle of water from Costco warehouse store, in a case, it might be 50 cents a bottle. If you go to the corner store, it might be $1. If you go to the movies, it might be $5. If you go to the airport, it's $8.
Yeah.
Right. So depending on not just the convenience, but how accessible it is in another way, the price goes up. Just how convenient is it? Just how convenient do you make yourself?
Well, if you don't go to the airport, stop at a damn liquor store or
But you
somewhere.
can't take it through you can't take it through TSA. They already have it situated where they know.
Besides the airport.
Right, yeah. So you can't take it into, so you have to, they know that they have you at the airport. They know that they have you over a barrel. They know they have you hostage. They know that you can't go anywhere. You can't do anything else. You got to pay. If you want that water, now you got to pay the $8. Or now they will allow you now. They have filtered water machines in the walls now, if you want to trust them. Right. Well, which would be absolutely insane, right? So these are the kinds of questions that we should be asking ourselves. And I want you to think about this in terms of any relationship that you have. I'm talking about employment. I'm talking about family and friends. I see you. I'm talking about friendships. I'm talking about intimate partner relationships. Okay. What is the price that you're willing to pay for having convenience in a relationship? Yes, sir.
I drink out of the fountain at home.
Okay.
I don't buy water.
Okay.
I think it's crazy to buy water.
Okay. Yeah, so you save yourself.
I remember when we was kids, it was grab the hose and turn on the spigot.
And so it is.
You know.
And you still here?
Yeah, water's water.
So,
and those machines, I see a spigot behind it.
It's filtered. It's just when you see the machines, what they've done is they filtered the water.
Yeah.
And they filter out some of the stuff. So And for that, but at least at the airport, if they give you the filtered water, they don't make you pay for it, right? Because they know they just put a filter on the back of it. But if you want bottled water at the airport, you're going to pay for it. But again, I want you to think about this in terms of all of your relationships, okay? What is the price you pay for using convenience? So if you are a person that that is in a relationship only because it's convenient for you, what are you paying? What is the price you're paying for that?
What happens if you don't have a relationship?
Oh, you got relationships with everybody. There's nobody,
Yeah.
everybody has relationships. That's why I said all kinds of relationships. I'm talking about friendships, work relationships, there is nobody that lives on this planet that doesn't have relationships, period. That just doesn't exist. So that's like a question that has no
Yeah, I
foundation.
don't have no, well, can't say that. I was about to say I don't have no treatment. But
The girl is downstairs.
no,
Well, what do we look like?
that's what I was.
Yeah, that's why you had to correct yourself. That's what I'm trying to tell you, because
We don't have a relationship?
Yeah, I said all of us.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. I'm making sure.
yeah, just want to be clear, what we talking about?
Never hear the word father, you been on my deal.
Okay. So then, okay,
Hey.
wait, let me just say this. Hey, you guys, let me just say this. Hey, calm down, because what I need to do is I need to get through this material, okay? So now, what do you give up for convenience? What is it that you give up? A lot of people think, oh, like it's good because I get to be in this situation when I want and I don't when I don't want to, or even bosses that, have their employees doing extra things for them and they know they're not paying them. But what are you giving up for that? Right? So in every relationship, there's a convenience price, there's a convenience factor that you need to put on everything. And how quick and easy is it to use you? How quick and easy do you make it to use you in any situation?
Now I don't try to put myself.
Wait, give it
in
that, give it
situations.
a.
Now I try to put myself in situations where I feel like I'm being used. Like now, she pushed this all the way up to my mouth. But yeah, I don't try to put myself in a situation where I feel like I'm being used, because at a time you really didn't know you was being used. You probably thought you was doing a good deed or you was being a good friend or whatever the case may be, but you were being used. But after you take the time away from that person and step away from it and think about it, like, then they was using me. So I try to put myself in those type of situations anymore.
Can you give an example?
Example, like, okay, I have a friend that she was always calling me, like when she want to go somewhere, she want to do something, she needed something. But the moment I called them, when I needed something, I want to go somewhere. Oh, I ain't gonna be able to make it, die. Well, I don't have no money, die. But it was always convenient when you was asking me to go, or you was asking me to do something for you.
Like you ask your friend to cook, and then when they ask you to cook and you don't cook for them, kind of like that.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Because sometimes you ask somebody to cook, they might don't know how to cook it, so they don't want to hear your mouth about the meal, so they just don't do it. Mm-hmm.
Don't you just love how we're all learning? We're all learning things as we're here today.
Is it like if you
Calm down, we need you.
They special tonight, y'all.
I have
Go ahead.
that's so funny. There is like I know someone that they always expect you to like bring them candy, but they can't never stop at Dollar Tree and get it themselves. They act like they don't know Dollar Tree exists.
Okay.
But they be like, you gonna bring some more? And I be like, why you just don't never stop and buy some?
Okay.
Are you talking about Roberta? Okay, so I just wanted to make sure I was
What I'm gonna do.
feeling just right.
Let me.
Bring it back. Okay.
It in.
Okay. Coming back. Okay. You want me to let this go?
Yeah. just
Oh,
sit
okay,
it down,
okay.
put it on- At least on this end of the
Okay,
table, make
okay.
sure we can, you
All right.
know,
Be everybody.
Access.
yeah, they can access it. So thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Thank you for sharing. Okay, so
Okay.
this is what I'm gonna say, right? So again, the question being, how quick and easy do you make yourself to be used? Okay, are you always the one running and jumping as soon as somebody said they need something, you Johnny on the spot, you running and jumping to go help them?
What happened if you're not the person?
I don't understand the question.
Well, a lot of people don't ask me to do anything
Okay,
because most of the time I can't do anything because I can't walk.
okay,
But they don't ask me. And after a while, you think, well, you only asking them, and then you feel like a jackass.
oh, you're saying if you're the person, you don't have the capacity to do anything really, and so people don't ask you and you feel like you're always asking other people. Well, I think in most instances, if that's the situation based on your disabilities and age and whatever, people know they don't ask you because they know that you can't do it. So yes, it's understood that there is
so much.
there's it's understood that you're not gonna
You
can't do it, and so that's not
Oh.
that's not about convenience or usury. That's about necessity.
Oh.
We're talking about someone that if you can't walk.
Just roll over. You have you just
Come on
roll
up
over here to
here,
get it. You don't have to.
Okay. She wants to sit down, I saw the problem.
You scared?
Yes.
So we're talking about having a disability. If I know that you have a disability and you don't have the capacity or ability to walk, to do things, then there should be an understanding that I understand that you're not able to do that. The same understanding for the fact that you do have the disability means that you are going to need some assistance. And if I'm one of the people that you asked, what you were just talking about, the levels there, when you pass over that level is when you are, if I'm doing this out the kindness of my heart, but you get to a point where you're like, okay, well, when you coming, or when you gonna do, or what's your problem? Why you not there? Then that becomes abusive, that becomes the problem. But if I understand that you have a disability and that you're not able to do those things, if I'm your friend, if I'm really have compassion for you, what sense would it make for me to ask you that? That's just how life is. That's not what she's explaining. That's just a part of life. What she's explaining is the convenience and the price that's being paid. You get to live to be a certain age. I'm hoping to get to live to be your age. You live to be a certain age. I think about my grandmother living to be 84. I want to get there, but at 84, she needed someone to help her with the meal. She needed someone to help her walk, but it wasn't that she was forcing them to do it. It was what they did for her because of her age, because of her disability. If
Right.
that helps you understand it a little more. It may not make, maybe you don't feel good about the fact that you're not able to do for those, but the good for me would come in the way you treated those people who did do for you.
Right. Just come. You don't have to just get it or come bring closer to you.
Okay, I think the other thing too is, as you think about different people at different stages of life, it's not always you're expecting them to move things physically or provide for you in certain ways. Sometimes it's the companionship. There is something that they get out of the relationship. So to your point about your grandmother.
Yeah.
Like I used to spend time with my grandparents as much as I could because I enjoyed the stories. I enjoyed the history of it. So even though you may not be able to reciprocate in a physical way, or even monetary or anything else, there is something that you provide from a relationship standpoint that clearly keeps people still coming around. Could be humor, it could be knowledge, it could be anything. But at the end of the day, I do think there are ways that we can all give back at the same time while we're receiving. So.
Absolutely. And what this was given to me to really understand is about how we show up in relationships, period, but mostly yes, about a intimate partner, right? How we devalue ourselves in a lot of instances to be in relationship with somebody, right?
Dumb ourselves down.
We dumb ourselves down. We don't require anything because ultimately we want to be in that relationship more than we want to be valued. But understand this, for the person, I will use an example of a guy who has a lot of money. Oftentimes people don't require much of them because they throw around a few dollars. People are enthralled, or they're enchanted with power and proximity to power and money. And money always indicates power. So people, they fawn over the people that got money. That's why they fawn over celebrities and stuff like that, because they feel like they have money, even though most of the celebrities don't have as much money as people think. But neither here nor there. People, they gravitate to those people. But let's talk about a person in a neighborhood that's got money. Talk about, I'm thinking of a guy selling dope, driving a flashy car. He's the man in the hood. Okay. He gets to go to whatever girl he wants when he gets ready. They allow him the freedom to come and go when he gets ready. They allow him for a chicken dinner at Roscoe's and a few text messages. Then they have access, he has access to them whenever it's convenient for him. And for him, because he can do that in multiple places, he thinks he's winning.
He's the man.
He is the man. The challenge he has is that he doesn't recognize is he will never be as great as he can be because they're never going to challenge him to stretch, to grow in any direction. So as long as everybody's a yes person around you, you don't grow. You just don't grow. When another thing is this, nothing great ever came from a position of comfort. You gotta wait. Nothing ever came from a position of comfort. Okay. Nobody ever became great where they were most comfortable. That's just not where it happens. Okay. So now this guy may think that he is winning because he has the flexibility to come and go in all kinds of people's homes, you know, all the women, he got this, and he doesn't have to answer questions, right? Nobody's questioning him about his comings or goings. He don't have to explain. And that's fine. The only challenge with that is that if there's anything in him that's great, those women are never going to inspire him to reach for those things. They're never going to inspire him to reach for those things. They're gonna take just what he's giving and be happy with that. And he's never going to grow or change.
I should be 20 foot tall,
Why?
because what you said that I can't remember right now is.
Well, then you hold on to the thought hold on to the thought till later. So listen.
There's additional perspective on that. You asked a pretty poignant question, you asked a pretty poignant question in terms of what do you give up when you allow yourself to be convenient? Believe it or not, I would argue that the guy who has all the money, there's a different perspective that may not be mentioned. Sometimes it can feel like you are cheapening yourself because you know people are just around for money. And you know that as soon as the money leaves, everybody's gone. So I do think you somewhat feel cheap in the process as well too, because you're just saying like, okay, you don't really care about me. I know none of you really care about me. It's just about the money and the access and all the things that you think I can give you or that I do give you and that I'm willing to give you. But you do sacrifice a lot internally because you feel absent, because at the end of the day, you're providing all of these things for all these people. And there's no reciprocity in the same regard. Even if, I mean, beyond the physical stuff, sure, that's cool for a while. But at a certain point, it starts to feel like, okay, when you're sick, where is everybody? You get locked up, where is everybody?
But again, though, that's the price.
That's the price. Yep.
That's a price, right? That the person that thinks they're getting all this convenience or whatever, doling it out, they don't realize they're paying that price. Because if you're not establishing the foundation for a healthy relationship, which by definition requires balance, just part of the definition of itself, it requires balance. So if one person is giving more all the time, right? This person, let's talk about the monetary side. You giving up all the money all the time, but when it comes time for somebody to give for you, nobody's around. But that's the price you pay for not having to be accountable. So if I've got all the money and I want to do this and I want to do that, right? And I don't have to answer to you. I can come see you when I want, and I could disappear for 2 weeks and don't have to be bothered with you, right? Well, for that, you're not building any foundation or any roots. And so what happens is then now you sick and you need somebody to take care, and there's nobody there. Right? So again, that's a price for the convenience factor, right? It's just part of what is built into it. So what is the price you're willing to pay for having convenience in a relationship? What is the price you're willing to pay for using the convenience, right? These are things that we need to be asking ourselves at this time. And what do you give up? What do you give up a lot of times? So let's think about the bottle of water at the airport. You don't have a lot of selections. You don't have a lot of choices. So all you have is what they have available. You are now boxed in because, and if you go to 7-Eleven, there's only so much water they have there too. So the more convenient it becomes, or the more they box you in, right? That's all that you have. Okay. So you got to be careful in thinking about, what am I paying for this? Is this a price I can continue to pay? Is it a price I can continue to pay? And so again, I want to go back and ask you, how quick and easy do you make it to have access to you? Oftentimes we just sign up. And so here's some things to think about again. Nothing great ever happened from a place of convenience. You'll never rise to your potential of greatness as long as you're not willing to be in discomfort. I see you. You're not willing when you're not willing to be in discomfort. You're never going to stretch or grow if you're not willing to be uncomfortable. Think about this. Often, and I think it actually comes to it a little bit later. A mate that doesn't push you to be the best version of yourself is not going to inspire you to greatness. They're not going to inspire it. They're going to stifle growth and development because they're just going to accept you as you are. They're just going to accept you as you are. They're not going to ask you for anything. They're not going to ask you they're not going to say, I think you're better than that. There was I saw a podcast, and the comedian's name is Kev on Stage. His name is Kevin. And he talked about how he was preparing for a special, and he had some jokes he had done years ago that nobody had ever really seen, some material. And he said to his wife, I could just, recycle those, because nobody's ever heard those or whatever. And he said his wife looked at him and said, you're better than that. That's the easy way out. You can come up with new material. She was stretching him to be the better version of himself. She didn't just allow him to go ahead and take the easy way out because it was easier, right? She knew that he had it in him to be better than that. And anybody that is around you that just allows you just to be mediocre and never stretch and never grow doesn't really care about you.
They're not your friend.
They're not your friend.
Or you let her talk and you won't let me.
You know what? You've been talking all night. You're going to cut out with the nonsense. Don't make me cuss you tonight, because I'm going to tell you from here. You've been talking all night, and that's okay.
Remembered why
And that's okay, but you're going to have to wait. You're going to have to wait now. Okay? You're going to have to wait.
And I'll forget.
Okay, well then that's too bad.
Right
That's too
down.
bad. So you can't. But people that don't want to grow consider someone asking them to stretch an annoyance, right? So think about this. If you've ever had a conversation with somebody and you say, well, you could do better than this or whatever, or you keep asking them questions. Well, why don't you do it this way? Or why don't you engage this way? And you keep asking questions and they get annoyed. They get annoyed. Why do they get annoyed? Because they don't want to grow and stretch. And it becomes, remember, mental discomfort is mental or physical uneasiness, annoyance. So mentally, I'm annoyed because really I don't want to move from here. I like it where I am. I'm okay. No matter, and listen, for us, we might think that position is like a dumb place to be in, right? You ever have friends that why are they doing that, or why are they going here, or why are they with this person, or whatever? It's all kinds of things we come up with. But this person is okay where they are. And so because they're okay with where they are, us asking them questions about why you doing this, they get annoyed at that. Because they're not trying to move from that position. They're okay with where they are. There's trust and believe. When you pull back the layers, there's some convenience. There's a payoff. Dr. Phil used to talk about it as a payoff somewhere. There's a payoff in allowing these particular people to talk crazy to me. I get a payoff in that. I know people who like to be the victim. They have gotten a lot of attention and a lot of support being a victim. So because they got all of this attention, they became enamored with the place of being a victim. And so it has become their identity. And instead of growing out of it, they fight to stay in the position of a victim, because somewhere in there's a payoff. We may never understand what it is, but somewhere in there, they're okay. It is crazy to think that there are people who walk around hurting from a situation and refuse to get out of it because they benefit from it.
But you don't benefit from walking around being a victim all the time.
No, you don't. But there are people that do. Yeah. There are people, that's the point, is that there are people that actually do, as Dr. Phil say, there's a payoff in that for them.
And they become conditioned and situated. And this is why they don't try to fight you to come out. They stay in the same place.
Yeah. They're going to fight you. They will fight you once it has become their identity.
Right.
This is the badge of honor that I wear. I am a victim.
Yes.
People mistreat me.
Yes.
Right?
I can't.
Oh gosh. Right? And if you say you can't, you can't, right?
Mistreat yourself.
Well, that's the truth, right? And we can sit here and say it all day long, but we don't understand what the payoff is. We don't know what it is for them.
Right.
What happened? 108.
Oh, did you want to say something, Chester?
We have, what's his name?
So at the end of the day, again, we may not understand how you could love being a victim, or how you could identify being a victim, or how you could embrace being a victim. But for some people, that has become their identity. And like Tony said, they will fight you to hold on to it. Yes, because that has now become who they are. And that's like saying, I can no longer be me. Right? Because now it's going to require me to stretch and get uncomfortable. Right? Now I got to go be in a place I don't want to be in. And we don't think about that oftentimes, but that's the truth of what happens to a lot of people, because we don't, how will we even understand that? If questions in a relationship, if you're asking clarifying questions at the beginning of a relationship, what are we doing? What's the nature of this relationship? If we're asking these kinds of questions and a person gets annoyed, it's likely because that person doesn't want anything other than convenient access to you physically or mentally. Say nothing about financially. So they only want you as a convenience. First of all, don't be asking me no questions. Don't try to hold me accountable for nothing. If you ask me a question and I give you an answer, and then you want to ask a follow-up question, now you're annoying me.
No,
See, because
that's when you mess up asking a follow-up question.
it's the follow-up question, because that's the only that is the place that they don't want to be in. Because see, now it's not convenient. Because see, now I got discomfort and I'm not free from discomfort. So now you're not convenient anymore. Now you're too much work. Right. I saw something about there's this concept, of course, we heard, and it was talking about men who choose, or very specifically have said that Black men in particular who have chosen very specifically to date women outside of their race. Their theory, as I understand it from this video, was because women of other nationalities are easier to get along with. And with, Black women, whatever, we ask too many questions, too much pressure, whatever, we got bad attitudes, whatever, right? Well, the reality is this.
Too much mouth.
If too much mouth, lots of mouth. And if you ever had to suffer, and we do.
Huh?
And we do. And the reason for that is if you ever had to suffer all of the indignities that Black women continue to suffer, you'd have some mouth too. Right? In recent years, they've proven that trauma travels in your DNA. It passes from generation to generation. It passes in the DNA, which I always believed, but I never had any proof for it. And maybe a couple years ago, first time I heard that there was a study that said, no, actually, trauma passes through your DNA. So if you think back to particularly women in America with their with the way that we were treated very early on in this country, and you start passing it from generation to generation and adding on top of it, well, yeah, there's a certain level of stuff we just not going to put up with. And it is what it is, and I don't apologize for that. But if you think about it, think about the trauma of having to have sex with the master, your man, breastfeed your babies, breastfeed their babies, get beat, have your children taken from you and sold off to other places. Just that by itself. That's not even, and then, then you got to work all day, right? So you think about that kind of trauma. And through the years, we have been successful in educating ourselves and raising ourselves up out of a whole lot of situations. So as a result of that, I can tell you for me personally, there's a certain level of shit I'm just not fucking gonna take.
But in order for us to,
Make sure they can hear you, babe. Just roll up. I think as long as you're close enough.
in order for us to have lived through those situations, that adds another layer of trauma. It's almost like if you're looking at me today and you pass me back through the generations of my mother, my grandmother, great-grandmother, I've lineaged all the way back to 1812, and look at those women in particular. If you're adding a layer or two in each of those generations, by the time you get to me, it's like I'm a full-blown croissant. And I'm a croissant of I'm not going to take any shit.
And then especially too, because we have so often been required to be strong, take care of ourselves. We are in America probably the least protected class of person in America. People don't protect us, right?
300,000 Black women have left the workforce since January.
Wow, 300,000. And those people, most of those were terminated. So again, when you think about it like that, yeah. Okay, so now if a person is trying to date me, right? I need some information. I want some specifics. I want to know what I'm dealing with. And I have a right to ask those things. Why? Because I take care of me. I've built a life of my own. I have a right to know who it is that I'm dealing with and under what conditions. Because see, I got to decide whether I want to do that or not.
Let it be my choice, not yours.
Some things I just don't want to engage in. No, I don't want to do that. Nope, don't want to. Next, or not. Because I've survived being alone a lot.
Carry and what I don't wanna do, I just simply.
Exactly.
I don't do stuff because that's what my husband. I
Yeah.
do what male
And it's always been that way.
take it up between we get out.
Mhm. And it's always been that way, Mel.
Yeah,
So,
My question for you would be, how do we get out of that place? At the end of the day, like I get,
Yeah.
I'm gonna explain it.
Mhm.
I get being in, generational trauma and how it cascades down. But at the end of the day, I'll speak for a guy who was married to a black woman, dated black women, dated all races, right? At a certain point, a lot of the black women that I dated, it wasn't about that I wasn't attracted to them. It was simply due to the fact that the interests were so different, as well as just capabilities as being a partner, a wife, or anything else.
their
Because-
interests were different from yours.
Than even just being a mother, or
Mhm.
than even just being a partner.
Mhm.
It was very much like me,
Okay.
versus, and maybe whether willing to cook, whether willing to clean up, if I ask you to clean up, if I clean up, and no, you don't talk to me like, it's like, whoa, I just cleaned up too, like, you know, I'm just asking, could you help? Right, like, I get it, you wanna do other stuff, and so I think, I understand where the trauma carries down. I do think at some point, we have to diagnose it and start to revert, like, fix it. Because I have daughters, right? They are black. And so at the end of the day, I want them to have the things that I had hoped I could find more readily available. So I try to teach more independence. I do try to teach her how to cook. I try to teach her how to wash clothes, do all the things that I think my mother taught me, which made me, I think, a more valuable partner. Versus I do think sometimes people can sit on a high horse a bit and say like, what are you gonna do for me? Who do you think you are? And it's
And,
like, what?
and I think you're absolutely right. And what I want to tell you is that that's in the selection process of the woman you select, right? Because one of the things that I find too is, I found out myself explaining this several times, to men in prison. There is a difference between an adult female and a woman, right? A grown ass woman is what I'm talking about, right? But when you talk about dealing with a person, anybody, that's me, that's not a man or a woman. That's just an adult. Yeah, that's just an adult. And so it's in the selection process. And I have a friend who I'm always amazed at his Facebook posts because I wonder where he's picking up these women he's talking to. You know, like he's talking about women over 45, they this and they that, and it's like, but all of his experiences seem to be these really low quality women. And my question is, one, where are you finding them? And number two, what is it about you?
Where you hanging out at?
What is it about you that's attracting that? Or why are you attracted to that?
What's going on with the selection?
You're gonna have to speak up because they can't hear you from over there.
Apparently, if he keep attracting trash, he have to be trash himself.
Unfortunately, that's the truth, man.
I mean, you hanging
I would,
in trashy corners.
that's what I'm saying. And that's what I you know,
And
I've said that to
you looking for
him.
somebody to do, you looking for a yes girl. It's 2025. It's 2085. There are no yes women.
Right, correct.
It might be some yes ladies and
Right,
yes
and
girls.
girls.
There are no yes black women.
No.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no.
There are no yes women.
And I would say, you know, I've tried to say that as gently as possible, that listen, where are you finding the women? Where are you selecting women from? Why are you attracting that quality of woman? You see what I'm saying? Because there's something you're doing, or there's somewhere that you're going that's causing you to attract this kind of a woman.
And I would also speak about the selection process, right?
Mhm.
When we're talking about, just expounding on what you said, in the selection process.
Slide it to her, Roberta.
um,
Roberta. Thank you.
Just speaking for you because you are sitting here. In the selection process, speaking about the traumas, how do we fix them? We first have to identify them. And so if you have identified yours, you seek a partner who has also identified hers. Because if you and you don't know until you talk with them, right? You don't know until you get to know them. But once you get to know a bit about that person, I think you have to begin to identify the red flags. And if you have your line in the sand and you keep your score, and it really becomes somewhat of a business. If you keep your line in the sand and in week number 6, you got 20 red flags, but you only got 2 blue flags.
Right.
How far do you go? Right? And how much time do you continue to expound on that person?
And that should
And-
not depend on how big her booty is. Or
I mean, but that is one of those things, right? It is, and how do you ignore the red flags? And I think that is very important on both ends, right? Oh my God, yeah, he's packing. I ain't going nowhere for a minute. Yeah, I ain't going nowhere for a minute. But at the same time, if once I get up and everything becomes a headache, then I have to stop and I have to recognize that. And I speak that because in my last relationship, when I sat up, he was like, lay down. And I'm like, no. And I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. And he could not fathom the fact that I could just get up, sit up, and walk away
Mhm.
and still live it to this day,
Uh-huh.
2 years later.
Right.
Live it.
Because they don't want to understand. But you said
But you have to learn, right? I'm not 30. I'm 59. So I can't keep making the mistakes I made at 10, at 12. Not, excuse me, that's too late. I'm like, at 20, shut up. At 21, at 35, I can't continue to make those mistakes. And I can't continue to ignore those red flags. So when they start beating me in the head, I had to say, whoo.
Stop it right here.
I'm sitting up.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna get up. I'm going to get up. Trust me, I'm going to get up. And then I'm just going to go ahead and go away. So I think that becomes something that we have to recognize as men and women or partners, is ignoring that red flag because of the convenience of what we're feeling, what we're getting, or anything of that nature. And once you do that, I think that you begin to have so much more self-preservation. And I can only speak for women. I think that's why I tickle today when I see the bear on posts on social media, because that's the woman picking the bear over the man, right?
Uh-huh.
And I know she, but there's men who, on the same,
Absolutely,
are dealing with the same thing. So I think that it is in your own selection process where you have to stop and look at, am I getting flags and am I ignoring them?
and that is so important, because in Her People Highway, that is what I write about, is the selection process. It's all in the selection process. You cannot ignore those red flags at the beginning and then fall out on the floor in the end when it proves that she's exactly what I thought she was. You can't go get your woman or your selection where gold diggers hang out and be mad because she a gold digger.
From Timu.
Right. 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 Getting them from Timu expecting quality. You understand what I'm saying? So
get up off of Timu.
okay, yeah, because that's her place, that's her people's. But anyway, it's okay. Well, we're just trying to say quality is quality no matter who it is and what it is.
Right.
And at the end of the day, you must value yourself. You talk about a business. I also write about that in Her People Highway. I learned to treat myself as a business.
Right.
Okay.
You are a business.
I absolutely am. And the bottom line is this: you cannot just come over here for nothing. This ain't, no. It's a price to pay coming over here. Yes, I require some things. Yes, you go ahead. But guess what? I'm also giving a lot of things. I also give a lot, right? And so I give access to a lot. So in exchange for that, there has to be, again, in order for it to be healthy, it's got to be balanced. And on any given day, one person can be given more than the other person, but at some point it has to balance itself out. I want to give my folks in Chester, it's good to have you with you, baby. I want to give you an opportunity to chime in.
All right. Well, I came in kind of late because I'm at work, but I like how you said it has to be balanced. It has to be very balanced and understanding. And then that last topic you said about how people ask questions and the person gets annoyed. And I believe that person gets annoyed because he can't control that person, and I think that's a form of control. You know,
Absolutely.
and 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 just like when she said that when she done, she got up. It's you can't control me like this. You know, I'm on my own person. Like you say, we all have values. We have to value ourselves. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because we mean something. We mean something to ourselves every day. So if you can't understand that, then you have to kick rocks. You know.
Right,
So
and I will not be a convenience. I'm not the person that you should check in for the convenience factor, because this is going to require something a little bit deeper, right?
exactly,
It's not
exactly,
7-Eleven, and y'all, we all grown. This is not the pussy drop-in center. Sorry,
exactly.
that's not what
Yeah,
we doing here. You understand what I'm trying to say? You
yeah,
gonna have to invest something here to get something, right?
yeah.
And vice versa, right? Because I feel like
Exactly.
to B's point, right? That person don't want to feel like a piece of meat no more. A man doesn't want to any more than a woman wants to. You know, that no, they do not. They do not like to feel like this is just about sex or piece of meat. They don't.
Not men.
Not men.
You know what?
An adult male might not care, but men, grown men, because remember, we are talking about, we're never going to be talking about or give a fuck about what a little boy and a little girl care about. We don't care nothing about them. No unhealthy people, no unhealthy, none of that. We talking about grown-up people.
Grown
That's the
folks stuff.
goal.
Yeah,
Right,
grown
with grown-up
folks.
conversation and grown-up stuff. That's
That's
where
right.
we are here at Free to Heal. Because
Yeah.
again, to Brinson's point, at some point, we got to heal all that. But we can't heal it if we're not willing to name it,
Right.
identify it,
Exactly.
acknowledge it,
Exactly.
and then start work. And then what we got to do, we got to stop doing what we're doing, right? We got to stop the behavior.
And you gotta feel it.
We just first got to stop what we're doing. Can we just
Because,
stop?
hey, you know what? Like you said,
What?
you have to heal yourself before you can heal others.
Absolutely.
You're the only one
Yeah.
can heal yourself.
And nobody can heal another person. That's the reality of the situation.
Exactly.
It's not given to us to heal somebody else. We can be there to support them in their healing, but we cannot heal them. And the longer we stay in the way, we're actually doing more harm than we are good. Because we're now stepping in the place between them and their creator, which is their power source. I don't care what you call it, there's a power higher than you that operates you every
Exactly.
single day. And you need to get in touch with that, because that's your power source. Because listen, we're not all walking around and life is just happening to us and we don't have any input. And no, that's not true. That's not true. If we don't have any input in our lives, it's because we choose not to. We have chosen to give that power to somebody else, whether intentionally or consciously or subconsciously. We have decided that it's just easier if I just let everybody else do it and handle all the responsibilities, then it's easier.
But then you
And
know
in
when people
reality,
like that,
it doesn't wind up being that way. What were you saying, Chester?
people like that, they don't have no self-worth. You know,
And that's what it is. And that's why I write it in Hurt People Highway. I learned to treat myself like a business, right? You got to make some investments over here before you get to make withdrawals. Sorry.
exactly. I mean, that's
Deposits.
the only way it should be. That's the only
Right.
way it
And if
should
you're
be.
not willing to do that, then that's okay. But again, this ain't the convenience store,
Exactly.
right? And yeah, and then the bank is closed, right? This ain't the ATM machine over here. You see what I'm saying? So you got to do some stuff. So I appreciate that. I'm glad that you're with us, sweetie. So Miss Beverly, you want to chime in, sweetie?
I was just listening, and trying to uh put myself like in the situation. And I like what you said, like treating yourself like a business. That's
Yes.
something that I needed to hear that. And I'm glad you said that. I appreciate you for saying that.
Awesome.
Because
And
I would never, ever thought about treating myself like a business,
I'm gonna get some information from you because I want to send you my book. Okay,
Okay.
read it.
You
Okay.
need to put that on a t-shirt.
Yes, ma'am. Understood. I'm glad my marketing director is here to hear that. Okay. Treat myself like a business. Yes, ma'am.
Uh-huh.
Got it. Love it. So glad that you're with us, Miss Bev. Miss Viv.
Mhm. Hi. You're right. Hey, I do treat this cat rabbit like it's a business because it's high quality.
That's
Now, if
right.
they gonna lay, they gonna definitely gonna pay. But they
Yes,
better come on
ma'am.
with a conversation with it too. Because if
Yes,
the
ma'am.
conversation ain't no good, hey, this cat rabbit done got the money, you can go head on.
Understood. Understood, Ms. Vivian. Listen, it requires you to value yourself in that way though, right?
Very valuable.
It does. And this is the thing. I say this all the time. There's too many people giving away everything for free. And I like to say, them women make it hard, or them girls make it hard on the honest hoe. I'm just saying.
You know what I always tell them? You want to know what my motto is?
What's that, baby?
Hey, this ain't giving Mississippi. This cat Mississippi I live in.
Hello. Hello. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. I want to go in the room. I'm gonna start. Can y'all get the cube and start passing over there so y'all can check out for me? Any final thoughts, Miss Mel? Come get the cube and pass it around. Any final thoughts for the night? Anything that stuck out to you? Oh, why you get up like you old? You ain't old. No, you ain't old.
Treat yourself like a business. Work hard, hit the basket, make a home run, make a touchdown. God bless y'all.
Baby.
I enjoyed the topic tonight. Thank you.
I enjoyed the topic tonight as well too. I do like treat yourself like a business. We're gonna make t-shirts.
Okay.
Coming soon. Coming soon.
We've been there. We heard that. Thank you very kindly. That's right. Thank you.
I concur. Great topic, great discussion.
Wonderful.
Good night. Thank you guys for the information.
Can't hear you, Roberta. Go ahead.
It was a really nice topic, and we need to speak more on these kind of things so we can stop being used.
Absolutely. Okay.
Yep. Most of this shit I don't understand.
Okay.
So I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he did. He only spent his time with his barmaids and by choice and everything. And so, but guess what though? But wait, that's a cold piece. The indoor, because let me tell you why. The barmaids were convenient, right? And as a result, now at 70 some years old, there's no foundation because the choice at the time was convenience because he knew that he was going back to prison. These are things that he's told us. For anybody that doesn't know, Mr. Pike has told us over and over again, he didn't have a family. And because he knew that he was going to go back to prison because he liked robbing and doing the things that he was doing. And now, in his 70s, he doesn't have a family like that. So, but again, that was the price of those convenient barmaids and not investing anything into a deeper relationship, not being accountable to any of those women, right? And again, that's a prime example to end this conversation on. And I hope that people listening understand our goal here is to heal. Our goal here is to heal.
And that is true.
And that's what we come here for. We don't come here as much fun as we have in this room. Trust me, the goal here is to heal because we have a lot of fun in here.
But we take the pieces that we're given to make ourselves whole again.
Yes, because guess what we also understand here at Free to Heal? That's our job. That's not her job to do to help me heal. She can inspire me and be there and support me, but I got to do the work. And oftentimes it's something that you said that we don't want to do. We don't want to go through the pain of acknowledging our own bullshit. I'm gonna say that again. We don't want to go through the pain of acknowledging our own bullshit. And that is what keeps us
And guess what?
from being healed because we don't want to deal with it.
Guess what?
And what's that?
And that's true.
And that's true. And with that, that's been another great session of Free to Heal. I appreciate you guys for being here. We'll see you guys next week, okay?
All right.
Good night. Good night, everybody.